Hello guys and welcome back to another Blade Warband video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 5 best single player mods that you guys need to play before Blade 2 Bannerlord is released. Before we get into the video, I would like to tell you guys that I'm going to be trying to upload every 2 days, and if not every single day during the month of December. One more thing I need to tell you is to go ahead and follow my Twitter. The link is in the description. I really want to see as many of you guys as possible following me. I'm really active on there at the moment and just would like to see more people on there who I can interact with. Now we've got all of that out of the way, I'd like to get straight on into the list. Now the first mod we're going to be taking a look at is the mod that you guys who love Game of Thrones have to be playing, and that is A Clash of Kings. This mod is based off George R.R. Martin's brilliant series Game of Thrones, and it's actually named after the second book in that series. On screen now you can see some characters from those series, and that is the Unsullied. Now these are basically slave soldiers that you can buy and use in your army, and I've got about 400 on the field here, and they're just amazing. The textures on them are brilliant, they look exactly like they do in the show. The weapons are a little bit out, but apart from that, just phenomenal. The Unsullied are just one example of many amazing units that you can find in this mod that are in the show. The Unsullied are just one example of many different units that you can play as from the Game of Thrones show. There are 20 factions spread across the whole map. You can play as the Westerlands with the Lannisters, or you can play as the North with the Starks, amongst many other different factions from both Westeros and Essos. There are many different things spread across the whole map that make it just that little bit better than some other mods. For example, you can find the ruins of Castamere. Now Castamere was the main keep of House Rain that were eliminated by House Lannister when they rebelled. And you can go ahead and explore those ruins. It does take time, however sometimes you can find some very nice items. So basically there are tiny little areas spread across the whole map that you can investigate, sometimes find items, and generally you find out lots of information that you may not have known about the Game of Thrones world. This just varies it so much in comparison with some other mods, and it's a feature I really like. I think the fact that you can go ahead and play within the Game of Thrones world, managing your own army, taking over castles, sieging in some of the most iconic Game of Thrones locations, I mean that's what sells this mod, and at the end of the day, it's absolutely phenomenal. There is a video on Clash of Kings coming out this week, probably around either Tuesday or Wednesday, so stay tuned for that. The next mod we're going to be talking about is called Prophecy of Pendor. Now this mod was designed to be a challenge to play and was only recommended for experienced Warband players. Now it was released around a year ago, however since then it's had an overwhelmingly positive response. It's the highest rated Blade Warband mod on ModDB, which is obviously where almost all of the Warband mods are now featured. Now the most recent download has around 70,000 downloads, which is insane. So many people have played it, and that was only one file type. Obviously there were previous versions that other people had played. The map isn't actually that much different in terms of size and shape from the native game, however obviously it has some different factions, and it also has a lot of variation from the native game, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. This mod has some very interesting troop types. Now I found a troop called a Scorpion Assassin, I think it was called. Now it took absolutely ages to get him ranked up and actually get to that level. However, he was absolutely amazing. He could one-shot with his throwing weapon. I think it was some kind of ninja star. However, they looked amazing and they were insanely overpowered. Now what you'll find in this game is that a lot of the lords have some really good units. So I attacked a lord and he had about 20 full plate cav, and it was quite hard to take him out even though I had around 200 units. As I mentioned previously, this mod is designed to challenge experienced Warband players, so my point previously was actually a very good thing for the game, and it does challenge me quite a lot, and obviously single player can get a little bit tedious when it's too easy. Now I had AI on normal and I was still finding it very, very hard, even though I had a lot of units. Now obviously this is a fully converted mod from the native game, and it has a unique backstory in the world of Pendor, which you can understand if you start playing the game. I don't want to spoil any of it. I want you guys to download it and go ahead and check it out. It's a very nice story indeed. Now it has a new battle AI system, which you'll see later on, and it has enhanced goals, so you can actually achieve more in this mod. It has a detailed economy, deep immersion, knighthood orders, some smaller factions than the ones you can actually see on screen, so the minor factions. It has more events and quests taking part throughout the whole game. It's a dynamic conversion system, all new and unique items, as you'll see later on in the video. Actually, you're probably seeing it on screen right now. And it has expanded victory conditions, and it also has special items, speciality enemy heroes, and it's designed to challenge players, as I mentioned previously. And I would also like to say that it has some very interesting textured armor. Now, I was taking a look at some of the items in this mod, and I found some demonic armor that added 70 body armor. Now, basically, I think you get this through going through a quest and doing multiple things, because I couldn't actually wear it because I didn't have the specific traits. It wasn't skill-based. Again, I'm not really sure how you get it, but that's definitely going to be a goal if I do play this on my channel in the future. So, moving on to the third mod in this list, we have Gekokujo. Now, I probably pronounced that completely wrong. I actually have no idea how it's said, as I've never heard it spoken, and have no idea how it's pronounced. However, that's going to be the case for the remainder of this little mod spotlight for this particular mod, as I don't really know how Japanese pronunciate their words. Again, just bear with me on that. So, as an overview, this mod is set in the Sengoku period of Japan, and it's often translated as the low-ranked taking over from the high. The general basis of the mod is that you start from nothing and attempt to gain control of the entire country, making the title rather fitting, because you're starting from low and then going up and trying to beat all the high people within the map. When I say high, I'm referring to the clan leaders, I presume they're called, in Japan at the time. The developers of this mod have focused on actually making it very historically accurate, and that is something that I love to see in Warband mods. It's very nice to see stuff that actually could happen in real life. Or I should say, could have happened back in those times. So at the moment, the mod features a new map of Japan with more than double the playable area than native. There are 32 towns, which is again 10 more than native, 75 castles, which is almost 30 more than native, and a massive 164 villages. Now, there are new villages, castles, towns, and taverns with different atmospheres and textures that he's made himself, and there's also new weapons, armor, trade goods, and flags, which all in all look absolutely amazing. I love the naming of them as well. They're very accurate to the times of the Japanese. I can't pronounce them, and I'm not even going to try. There's also gunpowder, weapons, and gunpowder units. There's new faces and hairs that you can customize your guy with. There are 20 different factions with 19 samurai clans. There's an integrated diplomacy mod that has so many different features and that you can only start to begin to understand when you actually play it. There are 22 different NPCs with fully fledged backstories that the people have actually made themselves, and they are absolutely brilliant. Definitely go ahead and check them out. And there's so much more, guys, than that. There's a ridiculous amount of things in this mod, and it's absolutely amazing. As you can see from the video, the cavalry is very, very good to play with. I enjoyed it massively. You get these really massive lances that you can do couch damage with, and then you can also do these side swings that are interesting. So you actually have a massively ranged side swing. The only game I can relate this to is Tiger Knight Empire War. It's very similar to the starting tutorial in that. As often is the case with these mods, you have some particularly outstanding textures. The samurai armor in particular is absolutely brilliant. It's very well textured and it looks absolutely amazing. The integration of firearms in this mod is a very nice feature because they're not that overpowered. They do take quite a while to reload, and you also need a lot of infantry and cavalry to take these guys on. Otherwise, you can just spam cav and basically couch them before they can take any of you out. Well, I say that, but they'll probably get a volley away and take out some cav, but again, cavalry against these guys is ridiculously overpowered, so you do need some infantry and some cavalry units to go with these people with guns. And also there are archers, so archers are not completely removed, they're still there in massive forces, as you see from the video. Overall, this mod is extremely enjoyable. I love the battles in this, especially the cavalry. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it's so fun to play. I would definitely recommend playing this mod. Go ahead and download it, the link is in the description. The next mod on this list is another one of my personal favourites. Now, I've been playing this for around about a year now, and every time I go on to have some fun, I always have a brilliant time. You probably would have seen this a few times in my older videos where I leave it as background footage while I talk to you guys about a subject such as Bannerlord, as it's very fun to watch, and I believe Watching horse archers charge around in massive groups, shooting each other, attacking infantry in just massive, huge scale battles is really, really fun to watch as well as play. I mean, the archer combat in this is really nice. The animations are really nice, and I think that's actually my favourite thing to play in this mod, playing as a horse archer. So, as an overview, this mod attempts to reflect the reality of 13th century Europe, which was around the Crusader times. The starting point of the journey is in the year 1257 AD, hence the title of the mod, and it attempts to be as historically accurate as possible. From the point in which you start, it's up to the player and the NPC lords to shape the land and fight for supremacy and control of the continent. Now, there's an extensive list of features within this mod. Now, I won't bother listing through all of them, I'll just highlight the most important ones. Now, the first one is that you can play through all of Europe. Now, when I say all of Europe, I literally mean all of Europe. You can take part in sieges from London to Constantinople all the way through to Jerusalem. One of my favourite things to do in this mod is to actually kind of reenact the invasion of the Mongolian Empire in that era when they actually attacked the Mamluk Sultanate. Those kind of battles are absolutely amazing. The amount of cavalry on the field is amazing, and it's really, really enjoyable. Now, continuing on with the list of important features, there are 42 playable factions, including the Holy Roman Empire, the Kingdom of England, and as I mentioned earlier, the Mamluk Sultanate. Now, there are hundreds of new historical region-based troops. There are more than 1,000 new items, armors, weapons, and all of them are historically accurate for the 13th century. There are buildable castles, there's a manor system with the ability to build custom settlements where you can build separate buildings that produce separate goods, and that provides economy for your realm. There's a realistic combat system with added taunts, formations, realistic horse archery, and many other different things. While we're on the subject of combat in single player, I'd like to talk about shield bashing. Now, this is in Anno Domini 1257 AD, and it's also in mods such as A Clash of Kings. Now, I don't understand why it's in the game, I just find it really aggravating, especially from a multiplayer focused person, and I think there should be a way of turning it off. Now, if you do know a way of actually turning off the shield bash mechanic, please let me know in the comments, because it really pisses me off and I die quite a lot because of it. Another feature is that you can actually play as one of your own soldiers after you die, which is absolutely amazing. I hate dying and then not being able to rejoin the fight and order your troops around. That really annoys me, and this is something that really makes this mod something else. You can have the ability to join a crusade or begin your own holy crusade to the Holy Lands, taking as many units from Western Europe as possible to go ahead and attack that Mamluk Sultanate. There's also a new lance recruitment system aiming to emulate the medieval feudal recruitment system, where you go into castles and you can recruit a certain amount of levies, or you can go ahead and recruit some knights. Lastly, there are sea battles and sea travel, and there's also many different castles, towns and villages, which are all very historically accurate and based off how they actually look like in real life. Now, what originally enticed me to play this mod around about a year ago was Arcade Knight's series on it. It was absolutely amazing. I'd definitely go ahead and check that out. He adds some very nice roleplay elements as well as having some brilliant commentary. Again, go ahead and check that out on his channel. So guys, the fifth and final mod we're going to be taking a look at is called Perisno. It's a total conversion slight fantasy mod based in the fictional land of Perisno. You have the ability to battle nasty minor factions, encounter unexpected events, and discover unique opportunities. Seek total domination or support another lord in the rise of their kingdom. Enter Perisno, and you may never return. There's a low fantasy setting, as I mentioned earlier, with dwarves, elves and giants, and there's also mythological creatures and magic, and also magic is actually out of the player's reach, however you can experience it in game. You can also wield powerful relics like the mighty Flamebringer. There are 9 different factions within the mod, including the Redwoods, the Valier clan, the Realm of the Falcon and Macavia. All of these factions of both major and minor importance bring different strengths, balance and styles of war to the field. And remember, no one is created equal. Some factions are purposely bad in certain situations, and you may find taking a town or castle from the Redwood nation, for example, is exceedingly difficult. But then you turn around and crush twice your number in elves with a group of Draconids in the field. In this mod, I don't like sieges as much as I do the field battles, because the field battles, a range of cavalry units you can get in this mod is insane. There's so many different runs, and there's so many different ones that have plate armor, and when you see a huge line of cavalry with plate armor, and then you see your huge line of cavalry with plate armor, you charge them, and it's just amazing. The cavalry battles are definitely something I would recommend you taking part in. Overall, it is a brilliant mod, and I would definitely recommend downloading it. Now, if you would like to download any of the mods on this list, all of their links to their ModDB pages will be in the description, where you can go ahead and download whatever files you want. Now, I know there's plenty of mods that you guys watching this would have wanted to see within this list. Some of those include Liège, I think that's the Napoleonic Wars single player, the Warsword Conquest, the Brian Tweldier, and the Floris mod pack. All of these are good, and I have played all of them, but I picked 5 of probably the best ones that I have played, and the ones that I think you guys would enjoy the most. Anyway guys, that is it for this video. Please make sure to comment down below what mods you felt like should have been maybe not in this list, or some mods that you think should have made it to this list. Also, make sure to go ahead and follow my Twitter. I will respond to any questions you have on there through Twitter DMs, and also I'll be posting, retweeting, all of that stuff. It's just a good way for you guys to reach out to me. Also, remember to hit that like button, because I really want to know how much you guys actually enjoyed this. And also, make sure to hit subscribe if you are new here. We're getting close to, well, I would say getting close. We're going towards 8,000 subscribers. My aim is to get 10,000 by the end of this year. Now, that's a big aim, but I reckon over December, you guys can do it. We're going to get there. And if we do hit that number by the end of 2016, I will make the best 10,000 subscriber special you guys have ever seen. Now, if you remember my 5,000 subscriber special, that was pretty good. However, we're going to go 10 times bigger. We're going to be playing other YouTubers. We're going to have some fun. And we're going to hit 10k hopefully by the end of December. Anyway, I'll stop talking to you guys now. That will wrap it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a brilliant day, and I will see you in the next one.